Hey everybody. So this video lesson is going to go over the sixth and final sample essay that we have read for essay number 2, the evaluation essay. So this essay is called What Are Your Beliefs? And one of the reasons I include it is because it offers a different type of topic for this essay. And I want students to feel like they have the freedom to choose a topic that works for them and that has meaning to them. So don't feel like you have to be boxed into just a movie review or just a restaurant review or something like that. You can go with something that's a little more abstract and conceptual if you want. So for this one, she starts off telling us a little bit about, it's almost like an anecdote, but it's not really a story. It's more just some personal experiences that led up to her looking for a new church. She starts off with this really kind of bold statement. Growing up in a devoted Catholic family, I believed it was the only religion to follow. So that almost makes it sound like she's kind of a closed-minded person, but then we quickly realize that that's not the case at all. It's just that it's almost like she wishes that she had known about other religions much earlier in her life, right? So she tells us a few details about why the Catholic Church kind of lost its luster for her, if it even had any luster, honestly. And that especially once she was divorced, she really felt like that Catholic Church was not for her anymore. So she went on this journey to find a new church, and she tells us that she found one. She has a really strong thesis statement here. More specifically, the music, the atmosphere, the congregation, and the feeling of belonging are what have prompted me to becoming a believer at the amazing Rivers Crossing Church. So criteria plus judgment equals thesis statement. Very clear that she's giving this a positive evaluation, and we know exactly what the criteria are that she's about to evaluate in the body of the essay. So she starts off, if you like modern music, you will love the music played every Sunday morning at the beginning of service. I wish that she had given us a little bit of a stronger transition into that first criteria to let us know that this is the first criteria she's examining. But otherwise, it's a really solid topic sentence, and she gives us, some supporting evidence to back up why she thinks the music is so great at this church. And then she moves into her next main point. Just like the relationship I found with the music, reminding us of where we just came from, I am able to feel comfortable and relaxed at Rivers Crossing because I enjoy the atmosphere. Okay. So then she gets into the different reasons why she likes the atmosphere. She likes the lighting. She likes how relaxed everything is. She likes that she's able to wear what she wants. So very solid supporting evidence for that main point as well. And then she moves on to the next one. The music and atmosphere both help me relate to the service, but it is the congregation that makes me feel welcome. So she reminded us of where we just came from, both criteria she just discussed, and then introduces the new criteria she's about to look at, which is the congregation. So she gives us some solid examples of why the people at this church are so great and why that's one of the things that she likes so much about it. And then she moves into her final main point, the music, atmosphere, and congregations. She just reminded us of all 3 criteria, all combine to form a strong feeling of belonging that gives me strength and allows me to grow both my spirituality and confidence. So then she gets into how she experienced this feeling of belonging and how it kind of played out for her. She gives us this really solid conclusion. Rivers Crossing and the non-denominational religion it espouses has allowed me to reconnect to a spiritual place with God. The music helps me relate to the service and the message. So that was one criteria she just reminded us of. The atmosphere allows me to be myself and feel very welcomed. That's the feeling of belonging. The congregation has opened the door to opportunities because they've been so gracious to me and my family. It's given her new insight. She even ends by saying Rivers Crossing has given me purpose. So very strong essay in terms of having very clear criteria, having really solid examples to support each of the criteria, really, good topic transitional topic sentences to move us through the essay, and a really solid conclusion that reminds us of everything that we just read, reminds us of her judgment, and leaves us with this final thought. Rivers crossing has given me purpose. And it's almost like she's saying, if you're searching for purpose as well, maybe you want to come give this place a try, because it might do the same thing for you. So it's a really cool take on an evaluation essay. Not your typical evaluation essay, but that's why I like it, and that's why I share it with students. It's also a really good example of how you might have to work a little bit at articulating your criteria. What I mean by that is, again, going back to the idea that you want the thesis statement to be very concise and efficient. So you don't want these long, wordy phrases for your criteria, because then that list is going to just make that thesis statement really cumbersome and difficult to clearly understand. So she probably had to sit there and think, okay, what are the things about this church that I love? I love the music. Okay, that's easy. Music, that's one criteria. I don't have to think about how to word that. And then the second one, she's kind of like, well, okay, I like the lighting. I like how relaxed it is. It's not stuffy. It's not uptight. It's not formal and like Catholic churches are and cathedrals are. I like that I get to wear whatever I want. So how do I word all of that? How do I put all of that together? What's a word I could use that kind of includes all of those things? Atmosphere. So she probably had to think about that for a couple minutes at least. And then the congregation, the people, that was probably a pretty easy one to come up with a word for. And then that final criteria, though, she wants to encapsulate what all of that does for her when she puts it all together. When she puts the music, the atmosphere, and the congregation all together, what is that? What do I call that? She thinks back to, she wants to, she knows that it has something to do with how crazy it was that she volunteered to get baptized on her very first visit, which was completely unlike her, totally unexpected. Why did she do that? How can she put into words what made her want to do it that day? And she finally realizes that it's because she had a sense of belonging. So she was able to kind of whittle all of that down into that little phrase, so that then she ends up with this thesis statement that is much more efficient and to the point than what it would have been if she had continued to struggle with how to word the criteria. So she just ends up with music, atmosphere, congregation, and feeling of belonging. So that is really strong, really easy to understand. I know when I read that introduction, the first time I read it, I'm like, okay, I understand music, I understand atmosphere, I understand congregation. I am not quite sure what she means by feeling of belonging, but I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to assume that once we get to that part of the essay, it's all going to make sense. And it did, because she was so clear and gave us 3 very understandable and relatable criteria: music, atmosphere, congregation. The essay built, and our understanding of her point of view built, so that by the time we got to that 4th criteria, that's like, I'm not sure what she means by that, it was okay, because we got it at that point. We totally understood what she meant by feeling of belonging. So don't be afraid to work through criteria like that. But you want something that gets to the point quickly and is easy for your reader to understand for that thesis statement. But I like this example. It's not your typical evaluation essay. And I know a lot of students out there really like a defined topic, but not everybody does. So this is why I offer the different types of essays that we read together, because if you're one of those students that wants to think outside the box, you have a couple of good examples here to kind of spark some ideas for you. So that kind of wraps up the sample essays. for essay number 2. If you have any questions or comments about this particular essay, what are your beliefs? Feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I hope they've helped you, and I cannot wait to read your rough draft.